Um, Welcome to Small Town Times. Today we have an international flavor. We have an international student from Nipissing University who's in the marketing. He's actually working here at Clark Communications where we have North Bay Echo. And his name is Uphar. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dave, for having me here. I'm really excited. I think it's a great opportunity. Yeah.
When did you arrive in North Bay?
I arrived around 3 months ago, in the beginning of September. And it was around 30th August, actually, when I arrived there. Yeah, so late August.
Just in time for our glorious fall.
Yeah. It was like there was a lot of sun out there, and the lake was really beautiful. So it was a really fun time. I'll say that, yeah. And the weather was really great. Yeah.
And you're from Punjab?
Yeah, I'm from Punjab, India.
Yeah. And what's it like there at this time of year?
It'll start to get cold. So the cold in Punjab is, like, winter in Punjab is one of my favorite times of the year as well, because it doesn't snow there, and the colds are very, you can say, dry. But so in Punjab, when the temperature goes down, so there are a lot of seasonal dishes which we prepare back home, like saag, and there are these. My mother would make these. I think we can call them desserts. It's called pinniya, and so my mother would make those, and we would have them with chai. Is very famous in India,
right?
And so we'll have them with chai like every morning. So those are the things which I remember.
So you're missing that right now?
I kind of, yeah. But the good thing is Canada has a big Punjabi population here as well. So you kind of can get those things here as well. Yeah, but there are different brands which give you.
What were the desserts you brought in the other day?
Oh, that was Kaju Katli. So, as many might not know, recently, I think it was last Monday, there was Gurpurab. It was birthday of the first Sikh Guru, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And because my mother basically scolded me that I didn't bought sweets for Diwali, because I was here, I joined here when Diwali was happening, and she was like, you better go there with something sweets, so to share the happiness. So I was like, okay. And then I searched all of North Bay. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find fresh sweets, because you can get those fresh sweets down in Toronto. There's a huge Punjabi population there, and there are like great people there who make those fresh sweets. So I landed up on a.
What kind of nut were those made out of?
So Kaju Katli is made up of cashews.
Right.
Yeah, it's cashews are like, kaju means cashews. So it's made out of cashews, and it's you might have seen it's sweet in flavor, but not that sweet, and it has a wonderful texture.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed too many of them.
It's
thank you.
I mean, I feel so happy that you enjoyed that. Yeah,
they look and feel like a lot like our maple syrup treats, but not as sweet, and a more pleasant sort of mild taste, and it wasn't too sweet. Yeah, it was good.
If you get a chance, try that with sweet chai as well.
Right.
So chai is huge in India, and chai. I'm a big chai drinker. My mother was a big chai drinker. Is a big chai drinker as well. So yeah, if you'll try that with chai, it'll be a perfect blend as well.
How many people in your family?
My family has 5 people. I have a grandmother. And my sister, she is currently in San Francisco, California. She's doing her postdoc from University of California, San Francisco. And my mom and dad. My dad's an architect back home, and my mom is a nurse.
A nurse?
So, yeah.
Oh, nice. How old is your sister?
She was born in 92, so she will be 31 this year in November.
And how old are you?
I'm 25.
Yeah, 25. Hey?
Yeah, I was
the same age as my son.
Yeah. And my sister actually turned 31 actually. This last month. I'm sorry. I just wanted to correct that.
You'll get scolded.
Yeah, well, when she'll see that, because but yeah, she's lovely. She's so lovely that she's been the one constant support. Yeah. And she was the one who wanted me to, come to North America, and was like, you know what, you should come here, come to Canada and study here, because it's great for exposure.
How did you end up in North Bay, Ontario?
So, long story short, I was looking for my master's. I wanted to do an MBA, but MBA turned out to be quite expensive here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started looking for alternate options. And I was working in India. It was a Canadian company called Pride Group Enterprises.
Okay.
It's based out of Mississauga. They're in trucking. So I handled a lot of operations there.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the people there. I loved working there. But the issue was that I didn't enjoy the work that much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, you know what? I love the people, but this is not something I can do. Like,
What
every
type of
day.
work were you doing?
So it was mainly logistics. So
Right.
I used to handle all the documentation.
Mm-hmm.
So in logistics, documentation is a big issue. So if you lose the paperwork of a particular load, it's very hard to track it. And I used to do that.
Right.
And then in the beginning, I enjoyed it. I sort of streamlined the whole process. But after that, it kind of became monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
So when it became monotonous, I was like, you know what? As much as I love the people here, and I still have great relationships there. The director, Arush Dua, I mean, I learned a lot from him personally.
Right.
And
How long did you work?
2.5 years.
Pardon me?
2.5 years.
Right. Well, that's long enough for that first type of job. Yeah.
So I worked there, and then I realized, you know what, marketing is something I'm really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought, you know what, I'll apply for my master's. So I started looking for universities, and MBA, I wasn't able to do that because it's quite expensive, around like $50,000 like per year.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what's the next best option? So for me,
Mm-hmm.
next best option was post-bac in business administration. So when I was exploring my options, we had an agent there in India. So he gave me like, okay, these are the institutes where this program is available.
Right.
And you can choose and let me know. So I saw Nipissing University Business Administration there. I wanted to go into marketing, but the agent didn't provide that information that marketing was there as well. So it was business administration. So I was like, okay, this is the gradual step. After completing my business administration, I'll get into marketing. But what happened was, and that's exactly what I did. I chose Nipissing because they were offering post-baccalaureate in business administration. And I landed here. And in my first class, shout out to the amazing professor, Alex Scott. He's an amazing guy. It was his first class, and I was just, in awe. Just the way he was, talking about marketing, and it sort of made me realize how much I really want to learn more about it.
Right.
So I just went up to Alex and I said, you know what, the class was great. I'm really looking forward to continue this semester. And yeah, he said, and then I had some conversation with my students, with other students, and they told me that some of them were in marketing. And I was like, okay, so there's a specialization in marketing here. And then I realized, you know what, after that first class, I was like, you know what, business administration. I did my bachelor's in business administration back home. So I was like, you know what, I'll go with marketing.
Good for you.
Yeah. So that's what I did.
And you ended up finding this placement work.
Yeah.
You were knocking on doors. You left your resume. I was the one that took it from you.
I clearly remember that.
Yeah.
I clearly remember that.
And then Scott Clark brought you in, and he was impressed with you.
Yeah. So I think I have to give credit to Arush Dua as well, like my previous director from Pride Group Enterprises. So what I learned from him was resilience. So he always had this thing where, you know what, if this one thing is not trying, like if it's not working out, try another thing. Okay, you can do this, you can do that, right? So that sort of, I learned a lot there. So that sort of mindset, I came with that mindset here. So I was looking for jobs. I was applying, to different stores. I know a lot of international students were applying to, in Northgate and other different stores across North Bay. And a eureka moment hit me up. And it hit me when I was like, you know what? I'm studying marketing. How about I try a part-time job in marketing? How about I just apply there? You know what? If I get it, it won't hurt. If I get it, amazing. If I won't, I'll continue looking for other jobs. So I started. So thanks a lot to Zach in Yes Employment. Amazing guy. He gave me
Zach in Yes Employment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zach Graff.
Yeah.
Incredible guy. Amazing person. He guided me a lot, and he sort of gave me the list of all the companies in North Bay, especially related to marketing. And he gave me the addresses as well. So I went to different firms across North Bay, and I dropped my resume there. And
Riding the buses around?
yeah, riding the buses around. And thankfully, so what happened was I came here, you kept the resume, and I came here once more, and I met Michaela. She's incredible as well.
Yeah.
And then what happened was, then I was sort of, kind of like, not, I won't say panicking, but I was kind of eager to, because I had a really good feeling here when I came to Clark. I was like, you know what, I would love to work here. And what I did was...
It's a smart looking building, and, it looks professional.
It looks professional, and just the vibe, in like just entering here, I know vibe is a very Gen Z word, millennial word, but just the, aura of this place, I was like, you know what, the energy of it kind of, grasped me, and I was like, you know what.
I grew up in the 70s, so the vibe still works.
Yeah. So it was, so that's why I was like, you know what, I would love to work here. So fun fact, I reached out to Scott through email. And what I did was, I did a trick. What I did was I copied the link of Clark Communications website, and I went to mailscoop.com, and I put the link there, and I went on LinkedIn to see who are the managers here and who are the CEOs here, and I see Scott Clark there. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I put down his name and I get his email ID, and then I emailed him directly. And I was like, you know what? He's busy. He might not see this. It's all right. Let me just try it once. And I was amazed. Like in just 10 minutes, he replied. And he was like, you know what, Uphar, I would love to meet you. How can we make that happen? And I sort of panicked. And I was like, you know what?
You put the line in the water, you're going to catch a fish.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then he was like, and I replied to him that I'm free. Whenever you're free, just let me know. I would love to come here. And I came here, and he interviewed me, and thanks to him, I'm working here.
Yeah, and you're fitting in. Everybody likes you. You're very polite. You're very, very smart.
Thank you so
much. And eager. Good energy to bring in here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I always, in my previous company as well, I always liked bringing that high energy, or just the enthusiasm of it, because I'm not the kind of person who would like.
Your mom raised you well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my mom and my dad as well.
Yeah.
My dad is my idol in a way, because growing up, now all the lessons he imparted in me, it's one of those things where I've never been, I can never think of anything bad about my dad, because he was so perfect.
Yeah,
and it was.
What was his name?
His name is Bir Singh.
Yeah,
and he's...
Well, give your mom and dad a hello.
Hi, mom and dad. So they'll see it.
Yeah, right on.
So it was because of his because the way he raised me, it was quite clear, and you know what, that's the reason why I am the person I am. And same with my sister as well. My sister would say the same thing. Both my mom and dad, they worked really hard. When growing up, they worked and they provided for us, and they did their best, and more than their best. They sort of, I still remember the sacrifices.
I'm sure they're very proud of you.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I carry around a briefcase, an old style briefcase.
Yeah.
That's from my dad.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Oh my God, this is, Dad's. I feel like, and it's just my observation in India. Mothers are appreciated a lot, and rightfully so, and they should be. But there's always there's this hesitance in people when it comes to dad and son relationships.
Yeah.
Right. And I hope that we could change that. I would love to be, because in my life, I love my mom and my dad has been just perfect. And I can never think of a better man to role model, as a role model, whom I can look up to.
And he's an architect.
And he's an architect, yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Well, actually, I was this morning. My 80-year-old mother drove from Sudbury here, and that's who I was having lunch with before I came here. That's why I was late. Yeah. And she's a beautiful woman too.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very nice to be able to appreciate your parents, right?
Yeah. It's amazing, and good for you. I mean, I miss my mom. You know, so it's just makes me happy that you are still, in touch with your mother, and just, the family is important.
I'll show you the photo I took of her before she took off. She went back. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was great.
Always got to take a photo, right?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is your first real winter then?
Yeah. And to be honest, till now I have kind of enjoyed the snow, but so I live above Cheapskates. So Barry,
Right.
he said, he told my roommate that,
Very close, I think it is.
Yeah, he's the owner of Cheapskates. Amazing guy.
Yeah.
Amazing guy. I have a story to tell you about him
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
So he told my roommate that, you know what, the snow is going to reach till your knees. And he said, wait till then. Because we were like, all of us, we come from
Not
India.
just your knees.
Not just your knees. It's going to be high.
Yeah, it's going to be up to your hip. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a new experience. So I think I will learn a lot.
Have you had a chance to walk in the winter trails?
I have walked the trails of the university, like behind the university. It was
beautiful
amazing.
up there, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I like our campus a lot, like the trails. So to be honest, I just went there one time because what happened was when we came here, there was a fair bit of adjusting period here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we all got the time, and all my roommates, they were like, you know what, we should go to the trails. And we went to the trails, and it was beautiful. I went to Duchesne Falls.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful as well.
Duchesne,
sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm new here, so I don't know.
Well, it's funny. I just mentioned that in my newsletter because I talked about people that come here, tourists in Ontario, and they make little YouTube videos when they visit North Bay. Yeah. And they always pronounce it different.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
And that's just how I pronounce it. Maybe it is different, but I usually, when I try to spell it, I pronounce it phonetically. Yeah. But it's Duchesne to me. Yeah. Duchesne, yeah.
You're local here, so I'm going to trust you.
Well, I might have it wrong because I knew a family in Cape Rawle, a really nice family, and they were Duchesnes, right? Oh. So when I see that spelling, I actually just sort of transfer it over to Duchesne. Maybe somebody can correct me if I got it wrong. Yeah. Anybody out there, I got it wrong? Let me know. But I call it Duchesne.
No, it sounds good. I'll correct my friends as well because all of them.
But when I'm spelling it, it's Duchesne.
Yeah, it's Duchesne. Yeah, so that's why I said Duchesne Falls.
Yeah,
so, yeah, it's good. That's the funny thing about English.
So how long are you going to be going to school at Nipissing?
I'm here for 2 years.
2 years?
My school is going to end on April of 2025.
Right.
So I'm here for 2 years, and I'm going to have a nice little summer break in next year, from June to September.
Yeah. Are you going to go back home next summer?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I actually want to work more and learn more.
Right.
Because the reason why I came here was to learn and grow here.
Right.
And learn and basically my career.
Mm-hmm.
Because
your English is impeccable.
Thank you so much. It's because of growing up. Back home, I used to participate a lot in English debates.
Oh.
Fun fact, I was best student of the year in my high school.
I have no doubt.
Yeah,
I have no doubt.
It was basically called best all-rounder because I was good at debates and acclamations. I used to act in English one-act plays as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I was decent in studies. I'm not going to say I was.
Have you ever tried stand-up comedy?
No, I haven't.
You should.
I don't know. I don't know if people will like my sense of humor.
well, you never know. They don't like mine either, but it doesn't stop me.
yeah. But it's good, And so because of that, and my English teacher, I almost call her like my second mother. Her name is Harjeet Kaur.
Right.
And she was, she taught me a lot. There was this one thing. So I was always good at, debates and declamations and, talking to people. And I got overconfident once. And I didn't realize that. But she was the one who took me aside and said, you know what? This is not right. You're being overconfident now. And she taught me the difference between confidence and overconfidence. Overconfidence is when you're not doing anything at all and just thinking that you're better than everyone else.
Right.
Right. So she was one of the most impactful people.
She
in my-
humbled you. Yeah.
She humbled me,
Yeah.
and I needed that, to be honest,
Yes.
because I think as
We all do.
we all do.
Yeah.
I think as human beings, we all have the tendency to think highly of ourselves, but I think she was the one who said, you know what, buckle down. That you're not, you're not what you think you are. So I think I needed that.
Well, you got to do hard work to be as good as you are.
Yeah.
And we all forget sometimes the work it takes to be as good as we are. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I completely agree with it.
Yeah.
Even like I'm a big football fan,
Yeah.
soccer fan. I know me and Ben.
Go Australia.
It's a
Cricket. Yeah.
It's cricket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Australia.
I've been meaning to jab you with that.
Yeah, I know. It's okay though. I like Australia because the way they play their cricket,
Yep.
it's kind of aggressive and on the front foot, which
Mhm.
it's nice to see that. And they have a very positive attitude towards cricket. Well, I'm a big football fan as well. So
Mhm.
my team, Liverpool, I'm a big fan of Liverpool, and they also play that positive, aggressive football,
Right.
which is quite attacking. So yeah, it's a
Soccer. Right.
soccer.
Yeah.
No, it's not soccer. Don't call it. No, but jokes aside, I think So me and Ben, we basically tease each other with, because he supports
Does
Chelsea.
Punjab play rugby?
It doesn't.
No.
They don't.
Okay.
Rugby isn't played in India a lot.
No.
It's usually in countries. I think it's South Africa, New Zealand,
Right.
Argentina has a good rugby team. I don't know. They have a rugby team,
Mhm.
but I don't know how good they are. But England are really good at rugby as well. Yeah.
And
So-
Australia.
and Australia. Yeah, Australia.
Just-
I like Australia, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like growing up. So fun fact, in cricket, like every Indian cricket fan growing up, because Australian team was the best team in the world,
Mhm.
and everybody hated that team. But I never had hatred towards that team, because I always thought, you know what, if they're winning, they're doing something right.
Mhm.
You know, they are, and then my cricket fan phase, where I started, because I'm huge into tactics, analysis, like even in football and cricket, and then I realized it's one of the one thing which differentiate Australian cricket from others is their winning mentality, their
Mm.
positive attitude.
Mhm.
Like it's like they will go for the win rather than because in cricket, in Test cricket, which is the longest form of cricket, all three results are possible. You can win as well, you can draw as well, and you can lose as well.
Mhm.
So Australians, even if they're in a losing position, they would rather go for the win than go for the draw.
Right.
So they can go for the draw and save the match, but they don't do that. They're like, you know what, we're going to go for the win.
All right.
So it's that kind of attitude I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some guys here that play cricket. Sort of.
Yeah.
Have you talked to those guys?
I played with them actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right across the lake, and right across the lake.
Lee Park.
Yeah, Lee Park.
Yeah.
They were playing cricket in the summer, like
Mhm.
in the falls, and I think in here there's a huge Gujarati community here who play cricket. And I went along and I said, you know what, because it reminded me of back home, and I was
Mhm.
like, you know what, I'll play with you guys. So I played with them.
How many people from your area of the world are living in North Bay that you know
I don't
or know
actually
of?
don't have the number.
No.
I think the ballpark figure, which I've heard from people here, is around like 2,000 people, maybe less.
2,000?
2,000, yeah,
Wow.
maybe less. I don't know the student population, because there will be a huge student population as well from Nipissing in Canada.
Mhm.
So, but from Punjab, there is a Punjab. There are a lot of students here,
Mhm.
and some of the families are here as well. But,
Oh.
but the major Indian population here in North Bay is from the state of Gujarat.
Where?
Gujarat. It's in the western part of India.
Okay.
Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, he's from Gujarat as well.
Huh.
So a lot of people are like in North Bay. They have the majority population. But when you go down south, like in Toronto, there's a huge Punjabi population there. So
Mm.
people from my part of the country are there. Like Brampton, I know many. Like it's famous for it.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge Punjabi community there.
Yeah.
Like if you you ever get a chance, just go down south. If you ever get a chance, just try like Indian food down south. It's quite good. I can tell because with my relatives, they took me to a couple of restaurants, and it was quite good. It was quite comparable to India.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was good.
Not a good place here in North Bay yet.
I tried Taza Donor though. Taza Doner is a good one. I haven't tried like any Indian restaurants here, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been like busy with my work and I didn't explore that much. But this Taza Doner on McEwen. So whenever I crave, like chai is like a big thing for me. Because my mother is a big drinker of chai, and because of her, I drink a lot of chai.
Yeah.
So whenever I crave chai, I go to Taza Doner. Their chai is good, and they have samosas and they have chaats as well. The Indian dishes, yeah, like local people of North Bay can try those,
Right.
and just as an experiment, and I think they like it. And I think there's a huge misconception about spice levels, that Indian food is very spicy. I would say it's not spicy. I would rather say it's more flavorful. Like spice is not about like heat in your mouth, but it's more about different sort of sensations.
Oh.
So that's the one thing which sort of differentiates Indian food. So if anyone gets a chance, they can go there and they can try the samosa.
What's the name of that
chaats.
restaurant again?
Taza Doner. Taza Doner. I think it's on
How do you spell that?
TAAZA or Z.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's at McEwen.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, they can try it. They'll not be disappointed, to be honest.
What do you like about marketing?
Actually, okay, so I'll tell you. In every business operation, like whether it's finance, whether it's HR, right? There are certain rules you have to follow, certain guidelines you have to follow, right? There's a strict, like for example, in accounting, you have the numbers, you have to, like accounting is an art as well. You should know how to play with those numbers. But it's funny because my roommate is accountant, he's gonna be pissed at me. But it's quite rigid, right? And that's the same, like I won't say issue, but that's the same problem I had when I was working in the last company as well, because I was sort of in a rigid place there. I loved the people. I had an amazing time there, but it was a rigid place. But with marketing, you have more room, right? You're more free to explore, creative. You are. So, like for example, ever since I've joined here, like every day I have done something different here. Right.
Yep.
I was with Scott for for an assignment, and then we went for a presentation there and at the North Bay Museum, which was amazing. And every day I'm doing
the
something
safe
different.
street stuff.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it was different. It was like, you know what, I'm learning something new. It's different, right? And because of that, it sort of excited me towards marketing. And the thing about marketing is that, you know what, two different strategies can work equally well as well, right? For example, you can be hyperactive in the market, right? And advertise all you want and you can get the same result. Or you can be like Elon Musk, don't advertise at all. Like Tesla doesn't advertise, right? But still, it's now the most valuable car brand in the world. So I think marketing is more, broad in that sense. So it's really fun to play with those elements. Yeah.
See, I wasn't always a journalist, actually. I went to school first for business administration.
Oh,
and
amazing.
Marketing was my preferred part of business as well. I was in Canton, Ohio, in the United States when I graduated grade 12. And I went to Kent State University for business admin. My godfather said if I get a degree in business admin, I'd have a job with their company, right? But I couldn't stand the accounting part, right? So, and then it was too expensive for me to be in university there. After one semester, I had to come back to Ontario where I can get student loans, right? And I preferred to be in Ontario anyways. So I tried another college for business, and again, the accounting, I just slept through. I just couldn't do it, right? And then I switched over to, I took a couple of years off to live in Toronto. And load trucks and do, whatever. And then I ended up going to journalism. But even in journalism, all I wanted to do was learn how to write professionally so I can go back to marketing.
Amazing.
But then I just stayed in journalism. Now I'm in a company that does marketing, but it's fun for me because I enjoy that creativity myself, and trying to match up the product and service to customers and trying to figure out how to best tell that story. So I actually kind of lean towards marketing myself.
It's
creative,
so
eh?
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an interesting story.
Yeah.
It's funny, like how life, takes us through this journey
Yeah.
to, to the moment where we are right now.
Yeah,
Right?
it is very,
It's an interesting perspective.
and you're going to learn something new. Even you probably didn't even realize this, but we're going to teach you how to do a podcast, and you're going to have a podcast in Punjabi, eh?
I would love to try it though.
I don't know. I only had one conversation with you, but I want to see you do that. That would be excellent.
Punjabi would be good.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge Punjabi population in Canada.
Yeah.
And I think I'm sort of excited.
And you can put
about
your marketing skills into your own podcast.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
Yeah.
It would be great. Yeah. It would give me more sort of, wiggle room to explore new things and new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Punjabi listeners.
Because eventually, with these podcasts, it's like running a business.
Yeah.
Right? You have a product, which is your content.
Yep.
And then you market it, and you find a way to make money.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
That's the thing about business, right? At the end of the day, you have to make money.
Well, you got to pay the bills.
Yeah, you
right?
got to pay the bills. But it's good. That's what I think. I know many people don't like capitalism that much, but I am a strong advocate of that because the freedom it gives to people, right? Of the things they are able to do, right? The ideas. And so
I think what people's thoughts about capitalism is corporate capitalism, which is monopolistic.
Yeah.
So you're more of a free market capitalist, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
competition. And freedom to do that. I know a lot of people on the left that are capitalists.
Yeah.
But they're also social minded, right?
Yeah.
And they don't believe in corporate ownership.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what the bad name of capitalism is the monopolistic corporations.
That's true. Yeah, that's I agree with it 100%.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, as a student of business, you study these markets, right? Oligopoly or monopolistic markets, and sometimes businesses can act as a cartel in a way, right? They can.
It's the cartels.
It's the cartels, basically. So I don't know. Like, for example, like I heard it in my business class, like in marketing class. I don't know if it's true or not. Like the telecom industry here, like in Canada, it's like just 2 or 3 players here, like Rogers and Bell, and so.
Some very big players and then a couple little ones.
Yeah, and I think the little ones are owned by the bigger ones as well. So
eventually, it's and so if you study, what we have is a CRTC. Yeah, they try to control a little bit of that, but the lobbying and their decisions actually benefit the bigger corporations a lot of times. Yeah, and the corporations have to give something to little guys, but then. They just give enough that they grow big enough, then they buy them. Right?
That's true.
So you still end up with monopolies almost.
Yeah. It's interesting to see that though.
What other courses you taking on up there?
So right now I'm studying economics, accounts, marketing. I have mathematics, which, to be honest, that's my least favorite subject.
Math.
Yeah, maths. I don't like it. And I have organizational behavior. There's this wonderful gentleman from Pakistan. He's the one who teaches us. His name is Mohammad Zishan, amazing professor.
What's his name again?
Mohammad Zishan. He's an amazing professor. And he sort of teaches us organizational behavior. So organizational behavior is like how people in organization behave. It's mainly about how you can increase efficiency in the workplace and decrease negativity in the workplace, or because I know, like, a couple of my friends back home, when they worked in different companies, there were some cases where there was bullying, like bullying other employees, and just unethical things. And my friends, when they asked me, is there in your company? I was like, no, I'm doing fine. And they used to tell me, and I never used to believe that. But then, when they started quitting and resigning, then I was like, okay, this actually happens in the workplace. Yep. So it's an interesting subject. Yeah. I
was a union president at the North Bay Nugget of our guild. And so I learned a lot from that side of the table, contract negotiations, and then also workplace issues. Yeah. So you get to learn a lot.
Yeah. You have to, because
Operationally, it takes two to tango, right? And it's very hard
true.
when you have that large corporations
Yeah.
dictating what a local company has to do
Exactly.
when they don't know what's going on in the ground. And then you have the local workers that know the community best.
Exactly.
And they enrich the company because human or advanced capital really for a company if they use them properly. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you as a journalist, did you have problems finding accommodations?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about your accommodations.
I think, and this is a tip for all the international students or international community who are coming to North Bay. I think the challenge wasn't the accommodation itself, because a lot of students have now, for like almost everyone I know have found accommodations now. Yes, in the beginning there was challenge, and I think there was a big gap of communication there. What happened was, so as international students, we were relying on Indian community here. And I don't want to blame them, because I think they have their own lives. They helped us the best they could, but they are not the ones who are who are locals here, right? In general, who know the local population the best. So I was able to find my accommodation after like three days, and I know a couple of them who weren't able to find it for a month. And shout out to like Nights In. Those guys really helped the student community here, and they basically kept the students in the motel and at a fairly reasonable rate, and they helped the students out a lot. And until then, like after a month, I think a lot of students got the accommodation. So and the challenge was, so what happened? So we were relying on our community. But then, like after first day, so we walked across North Bay, talked to like a lot of Indian people, local people here, and they did help us, but it wasn't. But the result wasn't there. So then I was like, you know what? Maybe we are missing something. We are not reaching out to the local people of North Bay. So what I started doing was I started going up to the local people here. So there was, I remember, I don't remember this suburb, which suburb it was, but there was construction going on, and there was this gentleman, and I asked him, I thought, you know what, he's in construction, maybe he'll know someone who can rent a place to us. And I went up to him, and he took my number, and he was like, you know what, I'll let you know. And after like 4 hours, he texted me the details. And then I realized, then the eureka moment happened. Okay, we're not reaching out to the local people here,
right?
Because I know a lot of local people might want this as a business opportunity as well, because they might think that, oh no, you know what, with rental income, it would be good for them as well. So I was like, okay, this is the way we should approach it. And thankfully, what happened was, one of my friends, he was walking downtown, and he asked this gentleman named Mark. He's the one who, shout out to Mark. He's our landlord. He owns the building of Cheapskates.
Okay.
So so what happened was, he met Mark, and he was like, you know what, I'm a student, I'm looking for accommodation. And Mark was like, you know what, I'm going to buy this building in the next week, so I can show you around. And he was like, okay. And he showed the apartment around to him. But then, like after like one day, what happened was, that friend of mine, he got another accommodation at a different place with people. And we were just discussing amongst ourselves, and he was like, you know what, there's a place there, you can talk to him. And and we were three people. Like at that point, we were three people, me and a couple of my roommates, namely Chetan and Simran, amazing guys. And we were like, okay. We went up to Mark, we met him, and he showed us the place around. He was an amazing guy, really high spirited guy, I would say. And he was quite welcoming, and he was like, you know what, and because he bought the new building, like the whole Cheapskates building, he was like, you know what, there's a mess around, so we'll clean it up. And I was like, no, we'll clean it up, we'll clean the mess around, just make sure this this building, you don't let anyone else get this property, because we were so eager to have a place. So then me and my friends, on one weekend, we cleaned the whole the apartment up. And fun fact, what happened was, so there were a lot of scams here. Like a lot of students were getting scammed as well by, I don't know who, they were like getting calls. Oh, there's an apartment here. You have to deposit $200 right now,
Right.
right? And students would, because they're so desperate, they would deposit it, and then they wouldn't get a reply. So, so Mark was like, you know what? And we were still skeptical. Is it the right guy? Is he the wrong guy? We don't
Yep.
know,
Yep.
right? Because we are coming from a different country.
You don't know.
Right? So, and we had this insecurity. So we were still looking out for like different, houses at that point. And the guy which I told you about, whom I went there, like who was working in construction, he sort of, he had our contacts as well. So he contacted Mark, and Mark was like, "Are you guys talking to other people?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And then I was like, "No, I think it'll create a wrong impression.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that." And then we clearly talked to Mark, and we told him that, you know what, this is the situation. Students are getting scammed. We were just being extra careful so that if
You're looking for a plan B.
Yeah, we were looking for a plan B. If this didn't work out, then we would look. And then quite graciously he understood. And he actually, because I'm a big football fan, he actually gave me a football as well.
Oh,
At
okay.
home. So he's an amazing guy. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. What do you pay for rent?
Right now, like we are 5 people living there right now, and its total is around 2,500.
Right.
So
500 per.
yeah, 500 per person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite like reasonable in my
Mhm.
opinion, because when I know a lot of students who are paying $750 for a room, or
Yeah.
$650 for a room,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so it's, to be honest, I was lucky because we always had a group of boys around us who
Mhm.
wanted to share the accommodation, and Mark was gracious enough to permit that. And yeah, that's the reason. And to be honest, I think being away from home, it can be sometimes a little you can say,
Lonely?
not lonely, I would say.
Homesick?
More
No?
homesick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but having boys around,
Yeah.
it really lifts morale up, and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a good journey. Yeah.
When I first came to North Bay, 1986.
Yeah.
I was on welfare, and I had to find it was room and board. Actually, it was just a room, and I think, if I'm correct, it was like $190, maybe $180 a month. And then I ended up finding I didn't clean up my breadcrumbs enough for the lady that was the landlady, so she asked me to leave, and it wasn't working out. So I ended up finding an apartment. It was just a hole in the wall right by the furnace in the parking lot in an apartment building.
Yeah.
But it was $223 a month or something like that. Yeah, but that was 40 years ago.
Wow.
But it's only really doubled, right? It was always going to be $250, $300 if you wanted something. It's not that far off. Right,
it's not
really,
that far
considering it's like 40 years ago, almost.
Yeah, I know like a couple of students here, like
35 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so students, like I know a lot of students who have like the whole house rented.
Mm-hmm.
So ours is an apartment.
Yeah.
But a lot of students, they have rented the whole house and they have divided the rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they are actually paying around, like some of them who are actually able to, because the key is how individualistic you are or how open you are to having other people around, right?
Yeah.
So the students who are able to have other people around and who are able to coordinate with each other, they are paying around what, $400 a month, like for the total house. I don't know the exact rent. So but the whole house is rented. Students, like in one room there might be one person or two people living there.
Oh, okay. So how much for the whole house?
I don't know the ballpark figure exactly.
Oh.
So I know a friend of mine, she lives in a house and she's paying around like $450 per month per person, and there are like 7 people.
What I was saying earlier probably isn't right, because I'm thinking, because if you wanted a 1-bedroom apartment now, you're pretty well looking at $1,200, $1,500.
That's true,
right? So it's like triple 4 times when you think about it.
Yeah.
The apartment I had was like a bachelor apartment.
Yeah.
For $250. And I did hear of just recently, I was talking to somebody, I think it was 6 students in a house, and they're paying $3,700 altogether. So it was like...
It could be possible.
Yeah.
It could be possible because what happened was, because of this, like this housing situation, what happened was that a lot of students were desperately looking for housing.
Yes. Yeah.
So they were willing to pay extra just so that, because at the end of the day, you cannot live in a motel for like long time, right? So a lot of students are paying premium in some areas. And I wish like some people will understand, but I understand that it's a business as well, and they have. I know a lot of times mortgages are related to the rent as well, right?
Yeah,
so they have to take out.
Some places are paying extra
Yeah.
interest rate now, so they need to charge more, right?
Yeah.
If they bought a place expecting a low interest rate, and then their mortgage interest rate went up, that's what drove up some of the costs, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, eh? Like the Bank of Canada is trying to, they held that interest rate to near zero for so long.
Yeah.
And now the interest rate's going up, and they won't bring it down until the cost of living goes down. But the cost of living is tied to your interest rate. Right?
Yeah, it's a spiral. Like
a
downward spiral. Yeah.
Like the higher interest rate is forcing the cost of living up.
That's true.
I think they have a game going on. I think the banks are winning.
Yeah, they are. They are. I think maybe it's because like a lot of Canada's population is near United States as well. So maybe because there are a lot of like population is scattered in like some areas, right? Because Canada is huge, but most of the population lives around that line of US border, right? Or near like 400 kilometers range. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting to see that because like I can talk about India, that India has like big population, right? 1.5 billion. And the population is quite scattered in different areas. So what I really enjoyed about Canada is that, you get a moment of peace here, right? There's more calm here. Like India, if anyone ever gets a chance to visit India, it'll be chaos in a good way. It will be like a roller coaster ride for your senses, in the food as well, in the people as well, right? Like if you ever want to experience India, if you have an Indian friend, just try going on to their weddings as well. Yeah, they're crazy. Like they're really crazy, and so it's India is more about, you can say, overwhelming of senses in a best possible way. Yeah. I'm not saying in a bad way, but it overwhelms your senses. And Canada is more, I don't want to say quiet, but more peaceful in that way. You have trails where you go out.
Yeah, we got a lot of elbow room.
We got a lot of Canada has a lot of elbow room, which I love, to be honest, because it's like at first it took me a time to adjust because I used to live in a city called Chandigarh. It's one of the big cities in India, not the biggest ones, but it is one
How
of the
many
major
people
cities.
in that city?
I think around. I think it must be around 800,000, 10,000.
Right,
I don't
right.
know. I can be completely wrong.
About the size of Ottawa?
Yeah.
It's 1 million in Ottawa.
Yeah.
But it's spread out a little bit.
Yeah. So like, I know the stat though. So Chandigarh went quite strict on the traffic. I know we recently did a traffic, the traffic presentation, me and Scott. So with the Chandigarh did this thing where they really, because in India traffic can be chaos. It can be chaos. Nobody follows the rules, and I'm sorry, I'm saying this, but nobody follows the rules there. I mean, they do follow it to an extent, but it's not like in Canada it's very proper that you have to drive in your lane. You have to keep distance between the two cars, like 10 feet, right? Nobody keeps a 10 feet distance in India. Nobody. Yeah. It's almost bumper to bumper everywhere. So when I came here and my relative, like the place where I was staying initially, it was Hamilton. I was staying with my sister's in-laws, and they're amazing people, incredible people. And we like my sister's in-laws, I call them Masarji. Masarji is like an endearment term. It's like an uncle
Right.
When you call, so like you call uncle here, right? So we call Master Ji, and he drove me around, and he was following all these rules, and I was like, wow, this is different. Like, I know some people say Canada's traffic is not good, but trust me, like as compared to the developing countries, it's much better. It's much better.
Well, I believe it.
Yeah.
I don't want to get all stereotypical or anything, but yeah.
So Chandigarh, they started, going heavy on, traffic regulations, and rightfully so. So what happened was, and I don't know if it's true or not, my friends were telling me this, is that almost every household in Chandigarh got fined because of the traffic violations which happened.
Yeah.
So I think it was like, they said around 1 million population is there, and around, he said 500,000, fines or charges, they would say, like lower level charges of traffic violations were.
Cash grab.
Yeah. But I think it's a good thing in a way, because when you have to maintain that discipline, and after that, Chandigarh is one of the most, like, to the cities I've been, like in India, I've been to Delhi and a couple of other major cities, but Chandigarh, like for me, is one of the best cities in India. I love that. I lived there for 6 years. I did my bachelor's there for 3 years, and for 2.5 years I worked there. So I have wonderful memories of that city, and it's a beautiful, beautiful city. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, and I believe we're going to be talking again in another podcast at some point when yours starts, right? We'll work on it. Maybe in the new year, right?
I'm looking forward. I mean, it's been incredible. Thank you so much, Dave. I mean, I was kind of nervous before that. It's my first time I'm speaking on a podcast.
But it's just a conversation, right?
It's just a conversation. I loved it. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you for joining me.
It's been an incredible experience.
And I hope the viewers get a little bit more insight with our new Canadian guests, international students in North Bay. They make a big difference, and you see them all over the place. And
any questions? Any questions, guys?
Very approachable.
Any questions regarding the international students, or if you had any, thing you want to share, just feel free. I will be happy to, assist you in replying those.
Oh, okay. Well, send me an email at editor@backinthebay.ca or editor@northbayecho.ca. And we'll end up answering your questions and exploring a little bit more of our international friends here. So appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dave.
Right.
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
Cool.
That's it.
Yeah. Amazing. It went better than I expected, to be honest.